Across the tapestry of our world, from the deepest trench to the highest peak, an ancient and relentless drama unfolds. It is a story told not in words, but in the silent language of survival. A cheetah, a blur of focused muscle and bone, closes in on a gazelle. A Venus flytrap, a marvel of botanical engineering, snaps shut on an unsuspecting insect. A mycelial network, the hidden intelligence of the forest floor, patiently dissolves a fallen giant. These are not acts of malice or cruelty. They are transactions, essential, fundamental, and universal. This is the great and perpetual hunt. A planet of nearly 9 million species, each one locked in a desperate, elegant, and lifelong quest. But what is it they are all hunting for? What is the prize that justifies this endless cycle of consumption? The treasure is not gold or jewels. It is something far more precious, more fundamental. It is the very currency of existence. It is energy. To understand why life consumes life, we must follow the trail of this treasure. We must uncover the map of a hunt that began billions of years ago, a hunt that connects every living thing, from the smallest bacterium to the largest whale, in a single, intricate, and astonishing story. This is the story of why, on planet Earth, to live is to eat, and to be eaten. Our quest for the ultimate treasure begins not on Earth, but 150 million kilometers away, in the heart of a star. Our sun. Here, in a furnace of unimaginable pressure and heat, hydrogen atoms are fused into helium, releasing a torrent of energy in the form of photons. These packets of light embark on an 8-minute journey across the void of space. Most will radiate out into the cosmos, lost to the darkness. But a tiny fraction will strike our planet. This is the first deposit of treasure into Earth's cosmic vault. For eons, this treasure rained down on a sterile world, its energy warming the rock and water, but finding no purchase. Life, in order to exist, needed a way to capture this fleeting celestial gift, to convert it from light into matter. It needed a new kind of hunter. These first revolutionary hunters were not animals. They were plants, algae, and microscopic organisms called cyanobacteria. They possessed a molecular machine of breathtaking ingenuity, chlorophyll. Through the miracle of photosynthesis, they perform a kind of cosmic alchemy. They take the energy of a sunbeam and use it to break apart water and carbon dioxide, forging them into a simple sugar, glucose. This molecule is the first solid piece of treasure. Sunlight captured and locked into a chemical bond. The producers, as we call them, have minted the currency. They have taken the wild, untamable energy of a star and made it accessible to life on Earth. Every blade of grass swaying in the wind, every leaf in the vast Amazon, every microscopic plankton drifting in the ocean is a solar-powered factory, tirelessly creating the foundational wealth upon which all other life depends. They are the quiet, unassuming start of everything. Once a treasure exists, it will inevitably be sought. The vast, silent world of green, a planetary vault brimming with chemical energy, did not go unnoticed for long. The next wave of hunters emerged. The herbivores, the primary consumers. These are the specialists. The safe crackers of the natural world evolved to do one thing: consume the producers. A caterpillar methodically devours a leaf. A wildebeest grazes on the savanna. A manatee harvests seagrass. Each is engaged in a heist, reclaiming the solar energy locked away in the plant's structure. But this is no simple transaction. Plants are not willing victims. Over millions of years, they have developed formidable defenses. They have armor in the form of bark and thorns, and chemical weapons like tannins and toxins, designed to deter the hunters. In response, the herbivores evolved their own sophisticated tools. They developed complex digestive systems with multiple stomachs and symbiotic bacteria to break down tough cellulose. They developed specialized teeth for grinding and livers capable of detoxifying plant poisons. This is the first great arms race. the evolutionary push and pull between the hunted and the hunter, the treasure and the thief. Yet, there is a fundamental law of the universe at play here, a law that governs every step of this hunt. The second law of thermodynamics dictates that with every energy transfer, a significant portion is lost as waste heat. It is a cosmic tax that cannot be avoided. When an herbivore consumes a plant, only about 10% of the energy from that plant is converted into the herbivore's own body mass. The other 90% is lost, used for movement, for metabolism, for staying warm, or simply dissipated into the environment. The treasure, with its first transfer, is already diminished. This simple fact of physics shapes the very structure of life on our planet. The diminished, yet now highly concentrated treasure held within the herbivore's body becomes the target for the next level of hunter, the carnivore. This is where the hunt becomes a high-stakes game of speed, stealth, and strategy. Life becomes a physical, brutal chess match. The secondary and tertiary consumers, the predators. The existence of a predator is a masterclass in evolutionary engineering. Consider the eagle. Its eyes are among the most powerful in nature, capable of spotting a rabbit from over 3 kilometers away. Its talons are perfectly formed hooks for snatching prey. Its feathers are designed for silent, lethal flight. Every part of its being is a weapon, honed over millennia for the sole purpose of acquiring energy from other animals. In turn, the prey are masters of defense. A chameleon's camouflage makes it a living ghost. The blistering speed of a gazelle is its primary defense against the cheetah. The poison of a dart frog is a vibrant, deadly warning. Herd behavior, mimicry, armor plating, the strategies for survival, for protecting one's own store of life-giving energy are nearly endless. This is the great, red in tooth and claw theater of nature. A wolf pack, communicating with subtle glances, works in concert to isolate a weak caribou. A shark, a perfectly streamlined hunter, senses the faint electrical field of a fish hiding in the sand. But these spectacular moments are not the norm. The hunt, for the predator, is a life of constant failure. Most chases end with the prey's escape. The energy expenditure is enormous and the risk of injury is high. A predator lives on a razor's edge, constantly gambling its own energy reserves for the chance of a much larger prize. And with this next transaction, the cosmic tax is paid again. When a carnivore consumes an herbivore, only 10% of that herbivore's energy is incorporated into its own body. We are now 2 steps removed from the sun. The treasure has been divided and diminished twice over. This explains the pyramid of numbers we see in any ecosystem. There are far more plants than there are gazelles, and far more gazelles than there are lions. At the top of the food chain, energy is a scarce and precious commodity, a pale reflection of the sun's original staggering bounty. But the visible hunt of predator and prey is only one part of the story. There is another, more intimate and often invisible hunt happening all around us and even within us. A shadow economy of energy transfer. Meet the parasites, the ultimate insider thieves. A tapeworm in the gut of a bear does not seek a dramatic, violent confrontation. Its strategy is one of infiltration and subtlety. It siphons its host's treasure, one nutrient at a time, for its entire lifespan. The host is kept alive, a perpetually regenerating resource for the parasite. This is a different kind of arms race, a silent molecular battle of immune systems versus invasive strategies. Parasitism is one of the most successful lifestyles on Earth, a testament to the fact that the hunt for energy takes many, many forms. And then, there is the final stage of the hunt. What happens when the treasure is seemingly lost forever? When a producer or consumer, a plant or an animal, dies. The vast store of chemical energy locked within its body is not wasted. A new and final set of hunters now takes the stage. These are the decomposers. The bacteria, the fungi, the earthworms, the master recyclers of the planet. They are the key that unlocks the final vault. Through decomposition, they break down the complex organic molecules of the dead, releasing the last vestiges of stored energy for their own survival. But in doing so, they perform a service of profound importance. They return the fundamental building blocks of life, the carbon, the nitrogen, the phosphorus, to the soil and the atmosphere. They are not an endpoint, but the critical link that completes the circle. The nutrients they release are the very same raw materials the producers need to once again capture the energy of the sun and mint new treasure. The fallen leaf feeding the fungus becomes the soil that feeds the oak tree. The hunt does not end with death. It is merely transformed, ready to begin again. Without these humble, unseen hunters, the entire planetary system of energy flow would grind to a halt. All treasure would remain locked away forever in the dead. So when we zoom out, we can finally see the treasure map in its entirety. It is not a simple chain, but a breathtakingly complex food web. An intricate dance of dependencies where every organism's survival is tied to another's. The wolf needs the deer, who needs the grass. But the grass also needs the fungus and the bacteria to break down the wolf's remains when it eventually falls. The hunter needs the hunted, and eventually the hunter becomes the hunted, feeding the very base of the pyramid it once stood atop. The reason one living thing must consume another is rooted in the fundamental laws of physics and biology. The reason one living thing must consume another is rooted in the fundamental laws of physics and biology. Life is not a static state of being. It is an active, energy-intensive process. It is a constant fight against entropy, the universe's relentless pull towards disorder and decay. To build complex cells, to power thought, to move a muscle, to simply stay alive requires a constant input of organized energy. An organism cannot create this energy from nothing. It must acquire it. And on Earth, the most efficient way to acquire organized chemical energy is to take it from another organism that has already done the hard work of collecting it. Consumption is the act of stealing order from the universe to perpetuate one's own. It is the transfer of a sunbeam, passed from a plant to an insect, to a bird, to a fox, and finally, to the soil, with a cost extracted at every step. Our own species, humanity, is now the planet's undisputed super-predator. We are the ultimate treasure hunters. Through agriculture, we have bent entire ecosystems to the task of creating energy for our consumption. With industrial fishing, we harvest the oceans on a scale never before seen. We have, in effect, hacked the treasure map, rerouting vast flows of the planet's energy for our own purposes. This unprecedented success has brought us unprecedented power, but it has also brought a profound responsibility. When one hunter becomes too dominant, the entire delicately balanced web is threatened. The mystery of why life consumes life is, in the end, not so much a mystery as it is a law. It is the engine of evolution, the driver of diversity, and the central organizing principle of our living planet. Every living thing is a temporary vessel for a tiny spark of solar energy, doing its part to pass that energy on before its own time is up. The next time you witness this ancient drama, a spider wrapping its prey, a bird pulling a worm from the earth, or even as you sit down for a meal, pause for a moment. You are not just seeing an end or a beginning. You are witnessing a single, sacred transaction in a 4-billion-year-old economy of energy. You are seeing one small part of the greatest and most important treasure hunt in the known universe. A hunt that powers every heartbeat, every thought, and every breath on this world. A hunt that began with the first light of a star. A hunt that will not end until the last light fades.